Hi everyone, welcome back to yet another session on Cube for All, and thank you so much for joining in for this session today. I know it has been a very stressful week for some of us, and thanks again for taking this time in spite of all the chaos and confusion that is happening around. So we have been working on some of the coolest features in gopaddle, and I want to take this opportunity and showcase some of the new capabilities that we have added and how community can benefit out of it. So today's session is around the latest release that we just did, just in time for the KubeCon. And I've been there at the KubeCon, and I saw a lot of announcements around the internal developer platforms, platform engineering, and so many open source communities trying to address the space, and so many vendors addressing these requirements. So we just made a just-in-time release around pass in a box. So in today's session, I'm going to talk about what is pass in a box, what do we have to offer in this space, and some of the new features that we have added in the new release. So let's jump in and let me pull up my presentation. So just a week before the KubeCon, we made a press release, and that's about a pass in a box that runs anywhere. So let's see what we have. So what is a pass in a box? So a pass here, like we are talking about a Heroku, like a platform that you can self-host and run in your own environment or in your own laptops or desktops. So when I say a pass, it's not just about taking your apps and then deploying onto your environments. It's a self-contained platform with smart modernization or like containerizing and deploying right from code to Kubernetes in just about a few clicks. So we do all this scaffolding, automatic Docker file generation and YAML file generations on the fly. And it also has all this multi-cloud capabilities like you can provision AWS, Google, or Azure Kubernetes environments, or you can bring your own Kubernetes environments too. And while you do these deployments and management capabilities, you also get all this monitoring, logging, and alerting. And we also have added some pipeline automation on top of it. So the whole platform itself has very good developer experience, as we have made it totally no code or low code. So when I say low code, you can do all this automation on the fly. At the same time, you can also customize the initial configurations that you have, right? And it's totally lightweight, so you can now bring it up on your edge environments too, because of the footprint we have really made it too small and optimized the installation and everything, so it can run on on-premise environments, on cloud, on edge environments. And earlier we had a community edition that runs on Ubuntu. Now you can also have it on your Mac OS. So it is kind of layered on top of microKDS. So we have qualified the same on Mac OS now, and you can bring it up as an microKDS add-on on top of Mac OS as well. So you can find more details around this when you actually go to the gopaddle help documents. You can find out more about this, or you can actually start with our website, and we have instructions on how to install on macOS. So you just have to do a brew install on your microKDS environment, and once you have that, sometimes this brings up a multipass virtualization environment. So microKDS installation automatically brings up a multipass environment, and sometimes the multipass can just consume all the available CPU and memory that is available on your laptops. So you can just edit that and restrict it to just four CPUs and 8 GB RAM. And you can just unload the configuration, load it again, and then you can just restart your microKDS. And from there on, it is pretty much the same set of steps for your, adding the add-on onto microKDS is pretty much the same. So you have to just add the gopaddle repo, which has all the Helm charts and the installation steps. So you can just add microkdus add-ons repo add, and then you can just enable the light add-on. Now these steps are pretty much similar for both macOS and Ubuntu. However, you can find out the detailed steps on how to go about installing it on Mac or on Ubuntu based on the respective documentation. Now these are the community editions, which are lifetime free. So these are single user, single node installations. So this can be just installed on a single microkdus node. And these are available as microkdus add-on. But however, if you want to try out the community edition on your own cloud environments or on a different Kubernetes environment, you still have option to do that. So if you actually go to our help documents again, go to help.gopaddle.io, and then you can search for install. And you will find steps on installing gopaddle on-premise 4.2.5, both light and enterprise. However, this is more customized for light. For enterprise editions, we can actually work with you and then kind of scale this light installation and make it enterprise ready. So you can find all the detailed configuration, more custom configuration for a complex setup. However, it's pretty much the same set of steps. So you can download, if you go to the installation section in this, you have steps to download the Helm installer. And once you download, you can just go do a Helm install. Okay, so you can just do a Helm install. So this installer is available as an umbrella chart. So we have two modules. One is the RabbitMQ module and the gopaddle services. So we need the RabbitMQ service to be up and running before you install some of our core services. So we have, we first run this umbrella chart called GP RabbitMQ, and then we bring up the GP Lite. So once we have this, you just wait for all the services to move to running state or ready state, and then you have your services up and available, right? So this is something that we have added in this release, and we have made it available on all of these environments. Now, I have one running on my MacBook as well. So you can see, once I install gopaddle on my MacBook, so I have these two namespaces available, and some of these services are gopaddle backend services. And once you have the installation up, you can access it using the node IP. You can get the node details by just getting the nodes in a wide mode, and you will find the internal IP there. So you can access gopaddle endpoint or the UI using 30,003, and then you can just use this from in your local environment itself, right? So this is something that you can try it out on your own laptops, and there are absolutely no cost involved. It's totally free. Okay, so what changes we have made in this installer so that it's lightweight. So first we have made this available in an air gap mode, so you can install irrespective of whether it is a community edition or the enterprise. You can bring this whole installation in an air gapped environment. So even in case of light, I'll show you in a bit. You can download all those gopaddle images locally into your own Kubernetes registry or the cache, and you can import it and then use it. Or you can set up a private Docker registry within your VPN, and then you can onboard all your gopaddle images onto those registry, and you can use it. And we have optimized the whole installation process. So we have made all our images lightweight. So we have moved to Ubuntu-based images to Alpine images, and we have improved on the health check and the capacity optimization. So earlier it used to consume, we needed a minimum of 32 GB RAM. Now we have brought it down to 8 GB RAM, so made it really easy even to install on a laptop, and then kind of scale from there. So the minimum requirement now has been reduced from 32 GB to 8 GB. And the image formats, we now support containerd and the CTR formats as well. So we have made all these base images really secure. We have run all the vulnerability scans and made sure like these are really secure. And we have also introduced a couple of optimization in terms of waiting on these services to move to running state. So earlier in the add-on installation for microcaters, we had it added the wait condition inside the install process. Now we have made it moved it outside. So the installation itself takes about 5 minutes. So gopaddle Lite can be installed in just 5 minutes, and then from then on, the wait condition can be triggered manually. And from the OS validation, as I mentioned earlier, we have qualified it for running on Mac OS as well. So these are some of the new capabilities that we have added. So if you are using a self-signed certificate, so if you are using some of these quick start wizards, when you communicate back to the gopaddle endpoint, so if you are running gopaddle in a self-signed certificate-based endpoint, then we have added a new capability here. So let me show you. So it's basically running on, skipping the TLS verification. So you can do that. So let's take this quick start wizard, for instance. So this is, so you can actually use this for onboarding your containers right from the source code. So looks like I have to just sign out and sign in again. So I just start this quick start wizard. I start selecting the clusters. Sorry, I have to choose the project, and then I do the quick start. All right. Okay, looks like I don't have an environment. All right, so we have introduced a TLS skip verification towards the end of this quick start wizard. So you can actually skip the TLS verification, and you can have, you can run the quick start wizard even if your gopaddle endpoint is running on insecure mode. Okay, so we have added quick start wizards for both generating both the Jenkins and Azure DevOps pipelines. So this, I think we had demoed this earlier as well on how to generate a Jenkins pipeline code. Now we have also added support for Azure DevOps pipelines. For instance, you can have in the same pipeline generation code, you can actually go back to the dashboard here, and then you can automate the workflows. And here you can choose the application. I don't have an application running, but however, you can choose the application and then choose Azure DevOps as the type of CI/CD pipeline tool that you want to use, and you will be able to generate the Azure DevOps pipeline code. And then we have a quick start wizard. So we have a quick start wizard to onboard Google Cloud and AWS Cloud. And from there, you can start creating the GKE and EKS clusters. So we have kind of reduced the number of steps that are involved in onboarding your cloud and creating your GKE clusters. So in the same way, like this quick start wizard, very similar to the one I showed for pipeline generation, you can also start with onboarding clouds and clusters. So you can start with starting with your cloud account. You can provide your cloud account ID and the region where you want to create your cluster. So you can have multiple such accounts added, or the same account can be added multiple times for different regions. So the moment you provide your cloud account ID, it gives you the steps to, some of the prerequisites, like you need to have AWS CLI in your laptops or your environment from where you're going to just run the script. And then some of the IAM policies that you need to have for an IAM user. You can consider this user as a gopaddle admin user, and it requires permissions to create roles, which you can later on, you can go and reclaim those. But initially, this is like the super user who has privileges to create other IAM policies and roles. And once you have these prerequisites, you can just run the script. So this is going to add a couple of policies and create some roles. So you can find out what kind of policies or the IAM policies are used. So you can actually go and take a look at all of this based on what capabilities you want in your EKS cluster. So if you want to provision node pools with custom AMIs, then you need additional permissions. Similarly, if you want to bring up an application load balancer, you need additional permissions, right? So based on what type of clusters you're going to provision, so corresponding policies will be added as a part of this initialization script. So now this brings up a cloud account in your cloud page, where you can have multiple cloud accounts here, and then you can start using that for creating EKS clusters or even GKE clusters. And the last one is related to the UI layout itself. So we have this release management capability. However, it was all like it was confusing, and we got some feedback on how that can be improved. So we went ahead and then moved this release management to the top navigation bar. So you can manage multiple releases from here and releases and distributions. For instance, let's take this. So here you have the repositories. So you can add a repository and start managing multiple repositories. I think I've been using a wrong. Okay. All right. Okay, so you can start managing multiple releases from here, right? So that's the point. Like you can consolidate and view all those distributions and everything from a single location. And similarly, if you take containers, so you have these containers. Let's take Merge Social, for instance. So you can start managing the releases from the container page itself. So you can have multiple releases here. And under each of these releases, you can see the repository that is associated. So for instance, you have multiple branches, and for each branch, you are running a release. So you can manage the branches over here. For instance, here you can see this release is related to the origin second edition, right? So you can kind of manage all those code repositories and branches from here. And similarly, you can also have the build configuration on how you want to build for this particular release. So for this release, you can see all those, what do you call, the build scripts and everything over here. So you can manage it for a single release from the container pages itself. Okay, looks like my team has added a cloud. So I just want to show the quick start wizard quickly, because that will help us, I think it's in the other demo maybe. Okay. Okay, yeah, maybe it's not there. So yeah, this is basically what is the addition that we have added. And some of the use cases that we are addressing through this is that you can bring up your proof of concepts really quick, because it takes a couple of minutes to bring up the entire pass in a box in your local environment. The moment you have a Kubernetes cluster, the good thing is that it suits most of the Kubernetes clusters. So we have stateful deployments too, but we automatically discover all the storage classes and your local clusters. So it pretty much works on most of the Kubernetes environments. So you can set up this whole pass in a box really in a few minutes, and then you can scale based on demand. So you saw the lot of other customizable configurations at the time of installation. So all those, the air gap modes, and if you want to bring up the whole setup itself on TLS and with load balancing and everything. So we have options for all those, and you can kind of scale this whole installation and your setup. And you can start building your internal self-service DevOps platforms. As you see, we have a lot of these capabilities around self-service and how teams can go ahead and then build their own service catalogs and things like that. Say, for instance, you have a catalog of all these container templates. Similarly, you can also build larger applications either by using these marketplaces or even using your own user template. So you can start building service catalogs and make it available for the rest of the teams. You can also start collaborating with other team members and then create a team of users, give access privileges, and all of those are possible. So you can really build your own internal developer or a self-service platform. And the good thing is that it's totally free, lifetime free for SMBs and developers, for a single node, single cluster, and for up to 5 applications. So you can really start small, and then as and when your requirements grow, you can actually scale your environments. And this is all we had, and we're very happy that we are kind of very much aligned to what the Kubernetes community is trying to do. And moving forward, we really want to see how we can bring in some of those capabilities like Backstage and others, how we integrate with those, so that we have a more roundabout solution around building internal developer platforms. Thank you so much again, and we look forward to hearing from any feedback that you have on improving our community edition, and then any capabilities that, or a wish list that you have. We are really keen on learning from you, and then we'll see how best we could integrate those into our next release. Yeah, thank you so much.